Hey guys, welcome to today's art project. Today we're going to be doing our final project of kindergarten. So today we're going to be waving goodbye to kindergarten, as next year you're ready to start first grade. So for today, let me show you the thing we're going to do. You're going to want a white piece of paper, a colored piece of paper of your choice. If you don't have colored paper, you could color the thing after we cut something out of this. You're also going to want paint of some kind, if you can find it somewhere. Now you could use a bottle of paint, watercolor paint. If you don't have any paint, you could even use food coloring mixed with a little bit of water, okay? So get your materials and let's get started. The first part we're going to do is the painting part. Now whenever you paint on a table, always put something down to keep your table safe. This is my painting towel. As you can see, there's paint all over it. So if your family has an old towel or a tablecloth, you could ask if that could become your painting towel. Now I'm going to put my white piece of paper right in the middle here. I'm going to be making fingerprints all over my paper with paint, okay? So we're going to leave your mark, your fingerprint of what it looked like when you were in kindergarten. So for years from now, you can see, oh my goodness, my finger was so small when you get older. I'm going to start by making some with this paint. I'm going to show you all 3 different paints I have so you can figure out and see which thing you want to use. Now, I could put some on a little plate, but since I'm just putting it on my finger, I'm just going to tap the very top of it like this and start making my fingerprints. This one had a lot on it, so I'm going to actually tap on that to get a little bit more. Okay. Very nice. Now, you could wash your finger off. If you want to take a paper towel that is a little bit wet, you should be able to wipe the paint right off your finger, okay? Next, I'm going to use the watercolor paint. For this one, I also do need water. So I'm going to start by putting my finger into a little bit of water, and then I'm going to rub it in the color of my choice and press it on my paper. Make sure your finger is not too wet, or else it could make a mess on your paper. You can use as many colors as you want, but purple is my favorite color. You could also make a pattern if you don't want to make them really random. And here we go. Again, I'm going to use my paper towel and I'm going to clean off my finger. The third way I can do this is by taking food coloring and mixing it with a tiny bit of water. So I'm going to use green and put a little bit of green into a container. You can see it through the container right there. I'm going to put my finger in it and put it on my paper. Might have had a little too much water in there, so let me put a little bit less. I'll put a little bit on my lid. You really only need a couple drops of water, a couple drops of this. There we go, much better. Now, the one thing about food coloring is it can stain your hand. So even if you wipe it off right away, it can leave your finger green or the color that you use. So if you're using food coloring, be very careful with it and try to keep it on just one finger, because it might not come off even how hard you scrub it, okay? Eventually it will come off. In a few hours it will, okay? So while we're letting this dry, I'm now going to be using my colored piece of paper. Since we are waving goodbye to kindergarten, we're going to make your hand waving. So you may need help from your mom or dad with this, but you're going to want to take the hand that you draw with and put a pen, pencil, or marker into it. and lay your other hand on your paper, just like this. I'm then going to take that and I'm going to trace my arm and my hand, going in between every finger until I've traced the whole thing. Now, you could get some marker on your hand, so be careful. Once I've traced my hand, I'm next going to cut it out. When you cut it out, be careful around your fingers. This part can be very difficult. If it helps you when you cut out, you can cut straight at one finger and then try to go down, okay? If you're having a hard time getting in that curve, instead, try going from the top and cutting it off at the bottom. That will be easier for you to do. Learning how to cut something out like this is wonderful for your fine motor skills. You should be able to cut out intricate shapes like your hand. If you're not able to do this, I recommend you practice this. It's a very important skill. Now, make sure you cut the whole way down your arm because you want to be able to say, I'm waving, hi, okay? When you're done cutting, see if your paper is dry. Mine is just about dry already. You're then ready to glue your hand or tape it onto your paper. I recommend you put the side that has the marker on it. This is the side you put your glue so that you won't see that on the other side, okay? So you can take any kind of glue or tape that you have, whether it's a bottle of glue, a glue stick, or tape. Any of those will work. I'm going to use a glue stick. I'm going to put glue on every finger to make sure they all stay down and all over my hand and arm. And then I'm going to stick it right in the middle of my paper, okay? Now if you want to, across the top, you could write something like Kindergarten 2020, okay? And this is a great memory for you to keep from kindergarten. So guys, as we wave kindergarten goodbye, I hope you've had a great year and I can't wait to see you next year.